This is dumb. Are we gonna have more audio problems? Probably. Is this an audio problem? I think it is. People keep telling my music is an audio problem. Is it? Hey YouTube, is this an audio problem? Nah, I don't think so. Hey, welcome to how to produce things like a lazy person, like me, who doesn't want to spend too much time or money on gear and wants to do it all ideally on one MacBook. Right. Before this episode, if you want to call it an episode, I've kind of left it to FL Studio default plugins as much as possible. In the time-honored tradition of In the Mix, which is if you want to be a professional, you should go watch that. If you want to just get this over with and move on with your life, you can watch this. Without using, tools meant for processing large data sets and not making art. Wink. Anyway, what do I mean by that? Well, we've got these fancy things here called VST plugins. I'm using it on macOS right here. This one is the best one. It's called Span. I think you should get it. There's this other one here that I'm going to show you about that's really cool that I'm going to load up here in this effects chain called TVR Nova. The nice thing about both of these is that they're free and that they have a place where you can tip them well. I don't know anyone else who has that. Don't read the description. Here's what we're gonna do. This is gonna be a de-esser. And this other one is gonna help us make sure it doesn't suck too bad when you actually master it later. Because this is still mixing. The difference between mixing and mastering is probably a trifle of some kind of, narcissism of minor difference type thing for gatekeepers. But it does kind of help if you do plan to go back over one exported high bitrate track and then touch it up some more, to think ahead of the game a little bit on that. So that is what Span is for. That's where we're going to start, because this is a spectrum analyzer and it's going to tell us where we need to dial into other things. There are spectrum analyzers, and in previous videos I've just used the one in FL Studio's like Spectrum Equalizer 2 or whatever, and that'll get you pretty close. But look at these mode editors we have right here. In the time-honored tradition of In the Mix, which again you should probably go watch if you want to be an actual professional, you can change the average time like that, and then we can smooth it out. I think he recommends like 1, maybe 2 octaves. I, at this point, am diagnosing something more specific than the master track is going to. What we're diagnosing here is resonances which build up on themselves. Resonances are not like the notes themselves, but how they pick up on other frequencies kind of in that octave, right? If you don't understand what I just said, think about it this way. This guy right here, 1 oct, is going to smooth out the difference between like a C on a piano and then the next C over on a piano, right? But whichever one you play, you're going to get actually resonances all the way up and down the harmonic spectrum because of how sound works. That's all I know. You're going to have to go to a real professional for more than that. So what does that leave us with? That leaves us with, right now, I'm actually still looking for some amount of smoothing. Because I want to know, but I'm an idiot. And I can't look at this super specific output of this graph and know what the heck to do with it. So here's what we're going to do. Look at that. It's a little bit smoother than the beginning of this build video, and look at what that's showing us. There's a big buildup right here around 171 hertz, another big buildup here, 3.5K. So we need to diagnose that now, right? Where's that coming from? I don't actually want to do anything to that here in the master. Let's check real quick. So yeah, we're good. Totally good at being in frame. Oh, how about the audio though? Yeah, okay. Hopefully, I'm trying to believe that this is true. Anyway, we had 171 and 3.5K. Guess what? I'm already kind of ahead of myself on this. I'm guessing it's right here. Look at that. So right here, I'm going to add Nova. Nova is not just this. See? This is the one that comes for free. This is the one you have at home. This is the one that you can get for free from the internet. And then if you want a cooler one with more bands, you can give them some money. Anyway, this is a compressor that you can apply to a specific band. It's a little bit more, I like it better than this one. You can use Maximus for it, but because of the built-in spectrograph, just the way it works, the knobs, I mean, I think trying to make this work for it is difficult. The other thing you could use that comes for free with FL Studio is this guy. Same problem. Worse, though, kind of. Like, you have to really know your business to make use of these. And, like I said, this is a tutorial for people who don't have time for that and mostly just want to make the music and then go move on with their lives. Whatever that is. Even if that's just more professional music someday. You know, like, if you listen to the music that, like, that I put out there, I'm not expecting it to take off. Like, who would fund that? You know, it's just about moving on at the end of the day. So tools like this can be useful for other things, such as, for example, here you can see I'm using it to, oops, I got it kind of, whoopsie, probably do that a little bit. That was something I had meant to do earlier, but check this out. This will tell you, hey, what is the region we're working with? And this is going to give you some stuff to work with there. And what I recommend is your bassiest bass. Yeah, put that in the center. This is your stereo separation. We're going to boot that, and I'm going to make it so all of my kick drums, all my whatever there is here. Get it? These FL Studio things are not perfect. In my experience, there's a little bit of bleed over, so I like to do it here in a kind of lighter amount. As you can see, there's compressor off and just only a little bit of this kind of stuff happening, so that there's barely anything that needs to be touched up on the master when I'm done with that. But if you go and listen to my stuff, these mistakes that you can make in this part of the process can ruin it, right? And so my plan the whole time is, if people actually like these tech demo 3-4 track EPs I've been putting out someday, I'll go in and actually put in the effort, but it takes a ton of time. If you listen to the first one, I put the most amount of time into that. And I think it sounds a lot better as a result. Just kind of checking, making sure things aren't glitching out. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is a rambly, all over the place kind of live stream, and we're getting into the weeds of some pretty hardcore stuff here. So, if anything doesn't make sense to you, kind of just skip it, okay? Because ultimately, and this is the part to pay attention to, right? Use span, kind of scope out a little bit, and then look for those big buildups. Think, what is the instrument that has the most like sounds over here, or the most like sounds over here? Yeah, it's my voice. So I know myself, and I know my own audio well enough to know that that is just something I always need to do, and most people do. So there we go. The other thing that we like about Nova is I didn't have to like write down the hertz or have that thing open over there. I can have my tiny one MacBook screen and then just find that same thing, right? Really fast. I'm gonna add a little bit of compression to it. It's actually gonna be looking like a lot of compression. But this is the other advantage to Nova, is instead of having to really dial in something in the multi-band compressor, we can look at that. It's as if it was free parametric scopy whatever EQ, but like with a compressor in it. Look how cool that is. And look at the visual output. Oh, it's beautiful. And it's free. There you go. And if you can hear it, it to my ears, that already cleans up the whole rest of the mix. Like, I can hear the bass better, I can hear the kick drum better, I can hear everything better. So what else do we have? We have the sibilants. So this is a de-esser. Rather than getting just some off-the-shelf de-esser, like in the mix says, I recommend Nova. There's lots of people who were saying this last time I was looking at these tutorials. Dear goodness, it's been a minute. But yeah, check that out. There's some build-up there, and I know that there are, just because of the way like my jaw tension hangs from grinding my teeth at night, there are certain S sounds that I am prone to really spiking. If I really do the face exercises and the vocal warm-ups, it doesn't happen as bad. But who has time for that? Again, if you are busy and you're not, this isn't your professional job, like, you get it, right? So how do we fix that in post? That's right. Just like this. So we gotta be careful, because we can do it wrong. That's not quite a good example. Look, I have that problem really bad, okay? If you listen to my music, you probably know. There you go, on the S there, it really took it. So this is where things can get messed up. It's in this attack right here. If you don't let it, if you like do this too much and then you really crank this ratio, it's gonna make it sound like you have a lisp. And I've actually heard that in some stuff, like, so, you know what I mean? Like, you might hear it in stuff that you listen to on Spotify and stuff, if you really get an ear for it. But then if you don't do it enough with the ratio, yeah, it's gonna be bad, right? So, can you hear it? There's a little bit of that lisp feeling there. So I'm gonna dial the Q factor in so that it really takes out just the narrowest chunk. And then I'm gonna increase that ratio, and I'm actually going to up that threshold so it really only starts to pick up on the worst of them. There you go. And we're just gonna do it just enough, because we don't want to take too much information out. Because anytime you add too much compression, you're taking out sound, right? And you want to be surgical with that, because the sound is good, but when you have too many resonances, the sound gets bad. So we can actually go and hopefully be able to see something here in span already. And again, like, things like S's and P's, those are very transient sounds. It's really fast, which is actually why we are smoothing it out and averaging the time out. Counterintuitive, perhaps, but if you get really too hung up on the spikes, then you might actually miss out on the one that's actually causing it, and you might not be able to see if it did the job right? Because you want to leave as much of that transient stuff in there as possible. It'll make it sound more dynamic, and that is kind of what sounds best to people last time I watched these kinds of videos, and that's what I've been kind of learning to do. But hey, check that out. It's better. Okay, so what else can we determine from this? There is like nothing going on up here. And a lot going on over here. So we have a lot of bassy buildup somewhere that needs to probably be addressed. This is where the memes of high pass filters come in. I've already got one on there. I've already got one high pass filter meme. Where's the next one? Oh, we probably need to put one here. this, okay, so this is telling me, oops, select on time. This is telling me that what I might actually want to do here is bring some of this back because there's a lot of information taken out of this base and it's not helping. So that means it's kind of like for you gamers out there, if you've ever had a CPU bottleneck system, it's kind of like that where, you know, it doesn't matter how much you change the resolution, your system still sounds bad or runs bad, you get a bad frame rate. If you have your EQs dialed in bad, it's kind of the same thing. You know, you'll be taking information out, but it'll still sound bad. And then eventually the whole thing sounds flat, which is what basically where I've left all my music right now, is in that state. Now it's just a kind of a matter of actually dialing back all of this stuff and being more surgical. So what do we got right now? I need to make some room in this effects chain for Nova again. That's our friend. So here's Nova, and then we're gonna go and pop it up the effects chain because the sound goes down a pipe here. It starts here and goes here and here and here and here, so on and so forth, right? So what I'm actually gonna do, this might seem kind of weird, but it's a bass, right? If we're gonna do a high pass medium on it, then I do need to bump up a little bit next to where we've cut out. Except we've got all this bassy resonance here, which is gonna build up over time because of how bass works. As far as I understand, I'm not a pro. I didn't go to college for this. I've just been doing this as a hobby for way too long. And we're gonna just try to cut out those peaks as much as possible. There we go. I think that's maybe the one. So then we can come over here and then, yeah, cool. Now we'll turn that back on actually. All right. Cool. I'm gonna actually go ahead and reduce the threshold on that, but it's already sounding better. And it's actually, I can hear the notes that the bass is actually playing more. And this is extra important to do because in this case, the bass is just my bad acoustic guitar pumped through all of these effects chains. Same with the regular guitar and just pitched down an octave. So managing that bass buildup is so crucial. What else can we do here now that we have the power of Nova? Check this out. Maybe this makes some sense. Knowing that it was pitch shifted down, I kind of wanted to get those transients from like the little frets and stuff as much as possible. And I don't mind that it sounds eerie because it's a genre thing. Do not do this for country music. I would recommend buying a bass guitar. Or in my case, maybe just finding a bassist, doing singer-songwriter until then. Yeah, I'm kind of done with this stupid goth music experiment. I hope you guys can forgive me. It's just a personal life thing. Don't think about it. You know, you always want to get to a point where you've got all the goth music in your soul out, and you can write country music. You know, I've been telling everyone that. And then, yeah, if I keep writing goth music, it won't be authentic. It will sound like Vumscut or something. Yuck. Anyway, what do we want here next, now that I've dealt with that? Okay, I like that there's a lot of information taken out of the vocals. It kind of gives it that Black Keys kind of a vibe, you know what I mean? I think that bringing some of that like Jack White kind of situation into the stupid edgelords music might help. Just a recommendation for the goths who are still with us, who I haven't scared away. I'm sorry for making goth music to make fun of the people who made fun of me for listening to goth music 20 years ago who just got into it. If you guys are late to the game, just get ready to get dunked on. Okay, right. There was a point where I think I had a guitar solo that I wanted to bring up, or just like a brief interlude. Here, right here. It's right here. So what else we got? Okay, I actually conveniently already sliced it here. So one cool thing you can do with the newer FL Studio versions, and I'm probably a little bit behind on versions, just like I'm behind on everything in my life, is you can kind of just like cut stuff and then change the volume of just a slice of the wave. It's really useful for if you really, really get like a pop in a vocal take, but you like the take and it didn't clip. You can just surgically go in there and turn that one down real quick, and it will maintain the dynamics. You don't have to kill it with a compressor, right? All kinds of little things like that. So in this case, I did have I have a lot of compressor on this guitar because I want to make an acoustic guitar sound like an electric. I think I addressed that in a previous impulsive live stream such as this. And because of that, I can probably go a little crazier here. You know, just give it the effect of like strumming a little harder. Ooh, is this the, what is this? Is this the bass? Am I doing this the wrong thing? Yeah, okay. That's what's happening here. Ah, excuse me. You can and should go in and label your things and be more organized than me. Okay, yeah, as you can see, the compressor that I have in that shit is insane. So I might have to consider doing this instead. It's not as lazy as I would like, but um, no, that was an earlier attempt at something. Okay, I have a couple of options. One thing I could do is I could make this into a unique track and then pipe it through a different effects chain. But in this case, I'm actually, because everything is so dialed in the way I want it to, I'm going to create an automation clip for this one. So we're going to do that. I'm going to increase or insert one up here. I'm going to, please don't record things. I have to press E. And then here, we're gonna put that guy right there. I'm gonna zoom in a whole bunch on that. I'm going to, ooh, hold on. Copy value. Move back over to where we are adjusting things right here. I'm going to paste that guy right there and then paste value because I don't actually want the volume to change obviously until it comes to this little interlude. And then I'm actually gonna put that guy there, and obviously it's gonna wiggle around, so we're gonna paste that again. Put that up here. Here we go. It's like a Bob Ross of awful music. And we can put that guy right there and that guy up there. We're gonna paste that value right here, and check this out. We've got a little step up for this guitar solo that I couldn't do the easy way because of the insane amount of compression to make it sound like electric. Here we go. All right, and what does it sound like without hardcore? Pretty cool, right? The thing that really changes that is the cabinet. I miss my old guitar, but I'm not gonna get hung up on that. I got money for a new one if I want, but I'm writing country music and I don't think I need it. Coincidentally. What else? What other secrets do we have here? Oh, right. I might have gone over this in another one previously, but one of the most important ways you can avoid having too much bassy build-up resonance type stuff is to do the following. Um, if I haven't already set it up on here. Drum bus, what are you? You have a beat controller. Okay, so all of my drums I have going into a bus that then goes into some parallel processing as well as this guy. This guy does not go into the master. It is a dead end, kind of. It's actually not a dead end. We are going to transmute, like Edward Elric or something, or whoever, like Paracelsus, ideally. Prometheus, if you want. That information into this meter. And that is going to give us the ability to go into our bass guitar that needs extra dialing in because, dear goodness, it is a regular guitar. And then we're going to go in here. Whoa. We're going to give it some kind of angelic hand to ghost manipulate the slider for us. How do we do this? Well, it is link to controller, actually. So we're going to go in here, you press link to controller, you go group controller peak, right there. It'll give you a couple of options. You want to go with peak, not peak plus LFO, and not LFO. LFO, not the band. I actually don't know what it stands for in either case. Can somebody fill me in? Anyway, you want to then press inverted, and that way, as the drums spike, this goes down. There's an easier way to do this. This is an old school way. If you want to know the easier way, I think it involves the limiter. So at that point, you use this sidechain curve, which I'm using for something else. So in that case, if you don't want to have too many instances of fruity limiter going because it's a CPU hog, you can do it the old school way. And actually, most of the time, I like to go through the old school way and just use this to dial it in a little extra bit in the cases of a down-tuned bass. So don't worry about the resonance. You know, it is what it is, you know, it's just resonance and filters. This is Z from the trans voice lessons. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, go look up, go do your trans voice lessons. If you don't know, go give Z money. Anyway, what do we got here? Peak controller, fun things you can do. You can manipulate an LFO, which is basically just like an automatic ghost hand to turn the knob for you according to time, as opposed to according to input. And then you can also have it do that in a, like, along with this, right? So think about all the ways you can add timbre, you can address resonance, you can do all kinds of stuff, right? So you could, for example, have a guitar and then parallel process that out to something with a filter hooked up to a fruity peak controller that then automatically ducks under certain builds up of anything you want. Or you can add that LFO to add that timbre and waveriness, a little bit of tremolo vibe if you want. It'll flavor it up a whole bunch. Make your own guitar effects basically if you want. You can do anything you want with this, with just routing stuff around through mixer tracks and using a peak controller. You can do so much cool stuff, and it opens up the possibilities to add anything to the background of your track, especially if you're willing to pitch shift it a little bit. Right, so what does it look like when we mess with this? Because I know that's what we all want to see. We all want to see ghost possession knobs in action, right? Well, unfortunately, you can ask Prometheus about possession and how that works and why you should not look into it. As in, study Latin or watch Esoterica. Because if you're picking up on those words, you probably have lost the thread of mastering a long time ago. Anyway. Do you like the joke? So to my ears, I can hear that the kick drum comes in way better if I move the value that this slider is manipulating. But now I can't hear the bass anymore. It is kind of following the guitar in this case though. Um, it's a lot cleaner sounding, so I'm gonna leave it there. Come back to it when I have fresher ears. That's the other thing too, is you don't want to like leave your music playing. These little you're checking, right? At this point, we're not composing anymore. I'm not critiquing my arrangement. I'm not even critiquing my guitar playing. It's like, oh, if there's a mistake, let me just like, yeah, I don't know. You see some of these slices. Some of those are, hey, I needed to nudge that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not the best. But the folk punk album is pretty much just a straight up like I recorded stuff. I call it folk punk. It's just depressing singer-songwriter stuff. I just am happier if I think about Days and Days than that album. It should be on Spotify today or tomorrow. I don't care. It's already on Bandcamp. Um, it's the really sad, slow one. It's sad and slow and stuff. Why have I become Xander from Buffy all of a sudden? Let's get back to work, shall we? All right, cool. So I need to switch to a different part of the song where the bass is doing something different. Okay, cool. I think I can even bring some of this back now that we've taken out some of the buildups. Yeah, check that out. And I'm actually gonna, since I've got the Nova now, I'm gonna get rid of that. Cool. Anyway, and that's pretty much it. Those are the best tools for like the kind of late stage of mixing. Let's pretend that this sounds good, and let's prepare it for some mastering, shall we? Export wave. Another metal song. Sure, it actually has a song. I think it was Typhonian Crypt for YouTube. And then 32-bit. Do not dither at this stage. Dithering is a way of making compression kind of like have more fidelity, but if you do it twice, it will start to sound terrible. So if you're in the mix, ready for the master, go reference in the mix, the YouTube channel, for actual information on this. This is just a precursor, right? A little cursory guide, I guess, a little practice run, like some kind of drill on the basketball court or something that you're running to get better. That's all I'm doing. That's all this ever was. Anyway, so we've got a couple of bit rates you can export into. We've got 32-bit right here, and there we go. You know, so it's just all about practicing your skills and doing your best every day. Because like Marcus Aurelius says, you never know when your last day is, and you gotta basically be Kobe for your community. You know, it's in Meditations. You should go read it. Because yeah, you know, if you do find yourself in some kind of stoic Epictetus, Epicurus, I can't remember. It's been for a minute since I listened to philosophize this and pretended I was intellectual. Oh wait, no, it hasn't. I've been yelling that at the people like St. Paul outside. Don't look into it. What was I doing? Right. Typhonian Crypt for YouTube. I miss ADHD meds, don't you? Um, new. Save that. Okay, hold on a second. We're going to Control S, Command Shift S. This to be for YouTube. There we go. And now we're gonna make a new one. We go with the basic in this case because yeah, we're basically just doing this, right? Boop, boop. And in this stage, we can take care of stuff like, you know, I don't want it to just clip out at the end, but I also don't want it to, you know, kind of helps. We can add that. I kind of know. It's like I've done this for a version of this release already. It way worse. Actually sounds so bad. So you can go listen to it and make fun of me later. If you want, it's on Bandcamp and Spotify and everywhere else, Apple Music, etc. Cool. So there's that. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to type that into here. That was a Command L, in case you are wondering. And now we're going to go ahead and get ourselves some of these parametric EQs. Going one here and one here. Why would I do that? We're about to find out. I got to wrap this up pretty quickly for reasons. It's all good. I actually probably just gotta use the bathroom or something. Anyway, we have now the next one, the effect chain after our parametric EQ at this stage is going to be, and you can again check within the mix for an actual in-depth guide on how to make it sound good and not just a overview of the steps. And somebody who can find it probably in the menus much faster than me. So embarrassed right now. It is going to be stereo enhancer. No, stereo shaper. Oh, I'm getting stage fright on a live stream. Imagine me getting embarrassed now. Oh, jeez. That's crazy. All right, we want this one right here, A-side mid splitter. I know y'all are splitting your sides at how goofy and stupid I am. There's that, but hey, it's all good, I think. Live streaming, I'm sure it makes the neighbors happy. For some reason it is not doing the thing that I want it to, so pick a different, stereo shaper. Don't get embarrassed for being bad at the thing that is insanely difficult to do. There's it back. Hmm. I'm embarrassed to leave this music in kind of a half-finished state, but I kind of need to. It's all demos, but you know, this stuff was just bleh. Had to get it out. Nightmares. Trauma. Whatever. Interpreting whatever the hell is going on. It's 4 years. It's the whole discography of Falsifer, if anyone wants to know. It's just been rough out there every day. I'm just trying to tell stories of people I've talked to, people I've myself mostly, but some of them are metaphors for much creepier things that have been going on recently that I don't understand yet. But I think we're all going to be okay. I see some real strength and courage in my community outside every day, and it just gets better all the time. So thanks guys for everything. Sorry for having to guess in some of whatever that was. Seriously, don't think about it too much. Yeah, now if you find yourself in a similar situation, just, yeah, I don't know. I hope you can make art and survive it the way I seem like I'm maybe doing. And I hope my content helps. Just if nothing else, offer a emotional, like, hey, here's someone else going through it right now. Listen to a lot of messed up music in my life that offered that. But sometimes for good reason there is no one else around that could help me. You know, it just is what it is. I like to know what people's reasons are, and I like to think that people would give me a chance to understand mine, not just for actions, but judgments of actions is the biggest thing, right? What do you judge to be right? What do you judge to be wrong? EM Scanlan stuff. What was I doing? Is this a philosophy lecture? Oh God, no, I was procrastinating and being embarrassed about the fact that I can't make stereo shaper work right. Okay, stereo shaper, let's reload and let's presets mixing. We need a side mid splitter. Oh, that's right. It just needs to be up the chain. There we go. It was working the whole time. So here's what's going on. Stereo shaper is sending the side channels, or sorry, the mid channel over here. If we look over here, there's that. That's going to be the center of the headphones. The side channels are going to be way over here. And we know that it's working because we're not seeing it on this guy until, oops, where is it? Aha, until you go monitor, side. Check that out. So what you can do from here is you can kind of be like, well, I like it. Like if you think about how a drum kit sounds when you're seeing a show live, I just hope you guys can't hear all this. Hold on a second. It'd be really bad to go through another live stream now and have the audio still suck. Okay. If you hear a drum kit live, the bass is like loud and punchy and will always kind of hit at your core, right? But then the cymbals and the higher sounds kind of bounce around the room. So we can recreate a little touch of that with a tiny bit of mastering. And when I say tiny, I mean no more than that half a decibel jump. If you look up here, it's going to show you how much I'm moving things. Half a decibel. Okay, and we're going to go, should I go high mid or should I just do the trebles? I'm not sure. I need to let my ears reset and get back to this. But one thing I do kind of want to do just for the vibe and the flavor is I'm going to do a quarter decibel takedown of the sub, like the sub bass in the outer channels to help kind of, I did a little bit of that before with, oh, we don't want this, Maximus. But that was mostly to prepare it for this stage, if that makes sense, because I don't want to add anything remotely like a compressor here anywhere, unless it is really just a compressor and really careful. So here we go. This is our mid, and to kind of make sure I'm not changing the volume too much, like I don't actually want to create like one of these like smiley face, like, you know, like, oh, I'll make your EQ sound good in your car kind of situations. I want to bring that back, equivalent exchange type of situation, right? So we're going to increase by about a half a decibel on the lower end. I'm not going to go the full 0.6, I'm going 0.4 as a guess. And then I'm going to decrease by, yeah, about a quarter decibel up here. And then I'm gonna scope it with some span. Okay, and at this point, we actually want to go average that time way out. And I'm gonna smooth it up to like 1.5 octaves. Sure, that's what I clicked on. Okay. That sounds so much better. Oh my god. So there you go. Mixing and mastering. If you like this music I make, this content, whatever, let me know. Let me know what you want, what you really want, and I'll put my effort on that, because in the meantime, I've got a bunch of other stuff that actually makes me money to do. Yeah. Bunch of stuff I gotta make money for, don't ask. Hey, also, what else? What else? I feel like there was one more mixing mastering type situation I wanted to share with you. Oh yeah. Um, right. Say you wanted to export this version because it's better than the other one. Bandcamp will let you replace it. Isn't that great? Spotify, and others don't, even though I paid money to put it there. Anyway, when you're at the end of it, say you're not like me, not super impulsive, not willing to just make a bunch of demos and see if you even want to make an album, um, and you're committed to making it sound perfect the first time, and pretend this is your first export of the master that you spent longer on and studied more for than this, then you can go type crypt master. And we can export that wherever, documents, sure, don't care. 16-bit dithering, okay? Art. It's not about the knobs and the stupid things in here, and it's not about the cool computers that would rather process your data chunks. It is about the friends and family and whatnot, and that's why you guys have to ask me to finish it and put this into an album, because all the music's out there. You can listen to it and put it in your own track listing. You can make a playlist. If you want me to fix the sibilant essence and whatnot, I will. But otherwise, I'm going to try to write music that people actually want to go to shows to, that someone actually wants to join a band for. That's kind of been my mission for a minute. Unfortunately, I had to write about what I see and hear on the streets of Portland. And nothing else. I've been keeping my head down for a minute. Haven't had time to check the news. I should probably do that at some point. Hope you're okay. Hope everyone's okay. Hope the world is okay. Whatever you believe, whoever you are, seriously, thank you. God bless you. That's the secret to the full optimist thing. It's all faith and gratitude. At the end of that show, that was how he won. One solid punch up to the bad guy daddy thing, and then telling God, like, hey, isn't life all about your friends? You can take all the magic powers away. I don't really care. And then God was like, you win. It's a good show. I think about it a lot because I was just watching it. I just finished my watch through. Anyway, now that I'm done watching Full Metal Alchemist and live streaming things, and I've made a bunch of bad music, I'm gonna learn how to make less bad music. Safe to turn it off, yeah.